Hello, my lovelies. Thank you for joining me today. So, we're going to begin today answering a question that somebody asked me privately last week, and that is, what is thought pain therapy, and what do I mean by free the wisdom to heal the body? So, free the wisdom to heal the body means that I believe that we each have an internal encyclopedia of unlimited knowledge about our own health and our well-being, and that we can learn to tap into this and to listen to the messages from our body. And we also need to listen to what we're saying to ourselves and to others about ourselves. And most specifically, to learn how to stop making finite statements about our health and our well-being. And by that I mean, stop saying things like, I'm never going to feel any better, or I'm always going to hurt, or I'm always going to be sick or in pain, or this knee has always been a struggle and it's going to bother me forever. And my hope with thought pain therapy is to empower people around the world to recognize the powerful guidance of pain, how it's a message from our body about what we think, what we feel, what we believe, even the nature and state of our own spiritual truth, and how we can reframe these thoughts, reprogram them, if you will, to heal our bodies, transform our lives, and increase our joy. So thank you for joining me on Mind Body Monday. And thank you for putting up with my nervousness and my getting used to how to go live. And today we're going to talk about knees, as expected. But I also want to touch on ankles, because a couple people asked about them. And knees and ankles are both also connected to the root chakra. So if you haven't already, you may want to go back and watch last week's live on feet and grounding and what it means to feel connected to the earth and our right to be alive. What makes you feel stable, solid? The statement, can you stand on your own 2 feet, could also be said about knees and ankles. Because just like the feet, when our knees hurt and our ankles hurt, they make us feel disconnected and insecure when we're injured or in pain. Now, both knees and ankles are related primarily to flexibility, to movement, our ability to change direction on a dime. We were doing this and now we have to pivot and go do that. And that includes not just the motion, but the thoughts as well. So problems with flow and fluidity in our lives, problems with surrendering to the moment, these can be reflected in pain in our knees and our ankles. Now, ankle problems specifically tend to connect to feelings of over-responsibility, a conflict between the need to care and our concern for our community and the cosmos and the well-being of ourselves. And this leads to frustration and difficulty making progress with our goals and commitments. And our knees connect to our attachment to rightness and ego. If you've ever heard the phrase, bend a knee, well, are you able to do that? How flexible are you when it comes to your thinking patterns? Are you someone who's dug in when it comes to your belief systems? Or are you willing to consider other sides of an issue? You want to think about whether change is difficult for you. And if so, it's time to develop what I like to think of as change stamina. Excuse me. as change is actually the only constant in our lives. In Buddhism, it is taught that there are three categories of suffering: the suffering of pain, the suffering of change, and the suffering of conditionality. All life experiences are impermanent, and we suffer when we cling to experiences or belief systems without an ability to change, to be flexible, to be mobile, to move with change, to move with time, to move with new information. We suffer to the extent of our attachment to the outcome. The less flexibility we have, the more pain we have. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to focus on what we want and not what we fear. I like to say, don't lay down fear pavers for a path you don't want to walk on, or to a destination you don't want to get to. So we really want to guard, again, our thoughts and our words. We want to make sure that we're focusing on what we love, what we want to manifest, what we want to create, both in our bodies and in our lives. And stay away from those fearful thoughts, those thoughts that are just the regurgitation of our worries, our stress, and our concerns. So we want to talk about what we love and not what we fear. And on that note, I love all of you. So why don't we go to the comments and see if we have any questions for today? And it looks like we don't. So maybe I answered everything. I hope so. I hope that you leave today knowing that you have the power to change the way you feel, that you can reframe those painful thoughts into creationary thoughts, and that you can create the life that you imagine, and that you can free yourself from your suffering, because pain may be inevitable, but suffering, well, suffering is optional. Oh, hi, Emily. Okay, talk more about humility and knees. Yes. So again, thinking about the phrase to bend a knee, which means to be willing to humble oneself in front of someone else, right? I think the phrase comes from the knights of old, who would literally go down on one knee to their queen or their king to be knighted, to say that I serve you. Well, when we hold fast and hard and unbendable to our thoughts, we lose all humility. We use all humbleness. We no longer have the ability to reframe, refocus, change, redirect thoughts that we have. It's almost as if it's a crystallization of thought, if you will. Our mind becomes so focused on what we already believe and know to be true that we are no longer open to what others may think or feel. We may already have decided that if they don't agree with us, that they're wrong. And that can manifest as pain in our knees, for now our thoughts are less flexible. We are not able to move in different directions. In fact, our beliefs are kind of focusing into a wedge of lost opportunity. So that's what I mean by that. It was a great question, Emily. And I hope those that asked about ankles got their answers today. And as always, if you have more questions, or if you're watching this not live, like I know a lot of people are, feel free to leave comments, and I'll try to answer them in our next live. And so next Monday, I'm going to be talking about hips and how they relate to our thoughts, and how we can heal ourselves from suffering because of them. Take care of yourself for me. Bye.